So what was the first time that you ended up touching a substance?
I was 14. It was actually a Waianae High School graduation night, and everyone, like usually on graduation night, everybody goes to Makaha Beach. They all party, drink with their sounds, play sounds, and just hang out at the beach. And I remember one of my classmates had told me like, "Oh, you want to jump? We'll go jump in with my friend. We'll go for a ride. We was gonna go to like a drive-through at Taco Bell or something." And I was like, "Oh yeah." So I didn't know the driver. I knew my classmate. And my classmate was also like kind of like a family friend, so I did trust this person. And I jumped in with them, and we actually went to a McDonald's drive-through, and they seen a guy that they knew, and they jumped out and they gunpointed him, and they took all his pouch and his chain and all his money. And so when they jumped back in, like that was the first time I've ever seen somebody like use a gun and gunpoint and rob someone. So I was like I said, 14, so I was kind of like, what the hell, And so they jumped back in the car, and I see him counting all his money, pulling out all his, stuff from his pouch. And in my head, I immediately said, oh, I want to do stuff like that. Like I want to rob people, because I thought it was cool, Like I was like, they got all this money for free, and so I was like, I just looked up to them. And so like 20 minutes later, we're parked in like a back street up the road from my grandparents' house. This is across from Waianae High School. We're parked in like a street with no lights by a dump, by a little dump area. And this is where like people used to go to dump their washers and couches, those kind of streets where
there's a lot of streets like that over there. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we was right there parked, and this is like late at night, and they started passing a pipe back and forth, smoking a pipe and blowing clouds in the car. And now I'm sitting in the back seat like, I want to try, because I'm watching them. And like I said, I looked up to these people now because I just saw them do something that I, thought was cool. And so that's how I first tried. And at first they were like, no, we don't want you to try this, like we don't want to be the ones. And I was like pressing them like, let me try. Like, if not, I'm going to try it with someone else, So they're like, okay. So they let me smoke. And it was like the craziest feeling, especially being the first time I ever tried that. It was like all your worries and all your cares, it's just like disappears.
So what were you guys smoking?
Meth.
It was meth at that time at 14.
That's what everybody said. The first hit is what everybody chases after that, right? The very first one.
Like you literally feel like Superman type, like it's a crazy feeling. Like it's like almost like as if like you're like you can barely even like breathe normally because you're so like pumped up. It's just like a crazy feeling like that you can really just do anything, and like I said, I never tried, drugs before. And so that was my first
Not
experience.
even like weed or anything?
Weed I tried.
Okay.
It just, I never really got into it. But that was like my first hard, drug. And that was where my whole life changed. Like that night was when the beginning of my whole life changed. So that guy had took us up to up Waianae Valley. There's a place on the side. There's like a dirt lane that he used to live. And he took us there, and there was like a bus, an abandoned bus, and he took us there and was getting high and smoking and, just chilling. And my classmate was like, oh, I'm going to go to the store. I'll be right back. And my classmate left, and he never came back. He left me with that guy, and that guy kept me on that bus for 12 days. He raped me. He fed me all kinds of like sleeping pills. He wouldn't let me go home. I would beg him like, please, my family's going to be worried. Please let me go home. And he's like, no, you're not going nowhere. He would have me stand in front of like the entrance of the bus, and he had a water hose like hooked up to this fence, and he would make me like rinse off, and he would like play with himself in front of me. And I was like afraid, like for one, I know this guy has all these guns because he was showing off, in the car. So like I'm 14 years old. This guy was old enough to be my dad. And so when I noticed, like after on like the 12th day, and I was keeping track like as much as I could, but he would feed me these pills that would make me go to sleep. I'd wake up with like bruises all over me, bite marks on me. And so when I noticed he was falling asleep, I told myself, I'm like, it's now or never, like you better get the fuck up out of here. And so I had ran away. Like I had a sheet on. I didn't have slippers, nothing. I had just a sheet wrapped around me, and I took off running, and that's how I escaped that situation. And it's crazy because I'd seen that guy years later, and he like was like, hey, what's up, Terann? How you?
Like nothing.
Like nothing. Yeah.
At that point, had the family put out like a missing persons report?
No, No, so at this point, my mom and my dad was going through a divorce.
Okay.
So my mom was actually living in Vegas at the time. My dad was back home, and so this is like during a stage where I was rebelling. You know, when my mom and my dad split up, I was like sleeping at my uncle's, sleeping at my grandma's, staying at Papa's house.
Right.
So it was hard for them to
never-
keep up.
yeah.
Yeah. So because I was either at one of the 3 houses, you know, and my mom was, you know, my dad was a single parent taking care of me and my brother at the time. So it was like easy for me to just be at Uncle Gabe's house or Papa's house, and like they didn't have to worry, you know. So they just assumed I was
Somewhere.
there. Yeah. And so when I did come back, I never told anybody. Like I never talked about it till I was 29 years old. Like I kept it like a secret for 15 years because that moment is what like shaped the rest of my future. And you know, for a long time I was like, why the fuck did I jump in that car? Like, why did I go with them? But you know, like, I'm not gonna take blame for anything the guy did, but like, I saw how I could have prevented. You know, like, I didn't have to smoke with them. I could have like got out of the car and, you know, went my own way. But it's like, in that moment, like, I'm so young and naive. I'm looking up to these people, like, not realizing that this is gonna change the rest of my life forever, you know? So like, I didn't want to talk about it with my family because I didn't want them to go after the guy because I didn't want them to get hurt. You know, and so like for me, I carried that shame, you know, and I used like drugs to like numb myself. I used drugs to pretend it never happened because I just felt disgusted. Like I felt gross, I felt violated, I just was embarrassed of what happened, you know, and I felt dirty. And so like I used drugs to make myself feel better and make myself feel like nothing happened, you know, and so then like that kind of made me into like a cold person. Like I didn't trust anybody at all, especially men. You know, now like in my head, now I'm a full-blown drug addict. Like after this experience, I was a full-blown meth addict. And, you know, now I'm like fully into the scene trying to like.
What is it, like 15?
I was 15 now. And
Never know that part of the story. Heavy.
I don't always talk about it because it is a heavy topic.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people are comfortable with it. You know,
You almost made me tear. I was like, oh, fuck. Because I just know about like none of the crazy shit that we hear, like boom, like the crime and this and that. And then when you just said that, it kind of caught me off guard. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, that's
So instantly from coming back, I mean, did you go back to your dad's house, grandpa's house, uncle's house?
So I tried to go back to my papa's house. And what happened was one day my auntie was washing clothes and she's washing clothes. And when she pulled it out to hang the clothes, a whole bunch of baggies, like, you know, little plastic drug bags was all over the clothes. And so immediately she thought it was her boyfriend, my uncle. She blamed him and was like fighting with him. Like, no, you fucking doing drugs, you know, no fucking lie. And like, I knew the whole time that was mine. And he's like, bro, that's not mine. Like, what the hell are you talking about? And he was like, go ask Terann. And so they approached me about it. And of course, at first I denied it. And then my family was like, bah, don't come around here until you're clean and sober.
Keep going with the story though. Keep going with the story. Keep going.
My family was just like, don't come around here until you off of that shit. You know? And as much as I wanted to be off of it, it's not something you can just, okay, today I'm off. You know, it doesn't work like that. Like,
I seen it because like I said, you're from that west side, but I'm from Waihoa Whitmore. It's just as bad.
Just exactly alike.
So I always feel like guys jump. They get evicted from Waihoa Whitmore. They move to west side. Then they same thing. Then they come back. So I grew up with a lot of people from there, but it's like you see them and it's like they're stuck in that.
You cannot.
Cycle. Yeah.
It's literally. It's like you stuck in chains. Like that drug held me down for 15 years of my life. From the age of 14 to 29, I was on meth. 15 years. And like, you know, I did 9 years and 9 months total in prison. So like, if you add up all that time wasted, like I wasted it in prison, wasted it on drugs. Like the people who love me would just beg, like, please come back, like come home, you know, like we're here for you, like we'll help you. But like for me, I thought you guys just don't understand. You guys don't understand, you can't help me. You don't know what I'm going through. And like, so for me, I would just block them out and I would stay around these people who I thought was like my second family, but really could give two fucks about me, you know? And I spent my time with all these chronics and drug dealers and drug drug users and criminals and Hawaii's Most Wanted, you know, until I was just the same. Like I was arrested 44 times in my life. I was Hawaii's Most Wanted.
Yeah.
You know, and my life, like, it literally, that's why I'm so passionate about speaking to the kids, because all it takes is one choice. Right. One choice. I didn't think, you know, when I went for a ride to Taco Bell that I wasn't going to come home, or that I was going to start drugs and be stuck for the next 15 years of my life. I would have never went out that night had I known the outcome, you know? But like today, after living all that and stuff, like that's why I'm so like adamant about reaching these youth, because they don't know. They don't know, like
They're innocent, yeah.
Yeah, like they don't know how that life will just trap you. Yeah, drugs is not something you can just pick up and put back down. It's not. It's meant to kill you. It's meant to destroy you, you know? And so like my whole life was just like I was surrounded by that kind of lifestyle, you know, the wrong people, in and out of prison, and it was miserable, to be honest. Like, of course, there's always gonna be fun, exciting times when, you know, running from the cops, going, you know, robbing people and stuff. But in reality, my life was lonely. It was lonely. It was dark. It was miserable. And I could never show my face proudly. You know, I was always embarrassed of who I was, embarrassed of what I'm doing. You know, like today, I don't feel like that at all.
Can you take us back to that instance that when you came back home and your auntie found all the baggies?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so that's when my family first found out. And my uncle was like, yeah, I've been knowing that you've been high. You know, it's pretty obvious. But at the time, I thought nobody knows, you know. But I was dropping weight like that, you know. And at that time, too, when you're a brand new drug user, you don't realize, like, your body movements and your mouth and your facial expressions. You don't realize you're like...
The tweaking. And
you know what I mean? Yeah. Like you just... And so...
The tics.
Yes, the tics. And my uncle was like, oh, I've been knowing. You've been on drugs, you know. But he's like, now is your chance to tell your family. And at first I denied it, but then, you know, it was no sense in continuing to deny it. And I was like, yeah, I'm fucking on drugs. And what? You know, and they're like, don't come around here until you're off of that shit. And so that like took me even further into my
What was that
addiction.
like though? Did they ask where you had been for the nearly 2 weeks?
Yeah.
What did you tell them?
I just was saying like sleeping at my friend's house, you know, because I didn't want my family to know the truth. Because my family, like, I didn't want them to have a chance to be like, you see, I told you so. Like, that's what happens when you cruise with these people, you know, or like with the wrong people. So like, I didn't want them to know the reality of what I was doing or where I was. You know, I was hanging around with people twice my age. Like literally, like my next boyfriend I got, I was 15 and he was like 33. And like, that was my first like relationship with a drug dealer, turned abusive, turned like psycho, like try to take my life, everything, you know? So like I was 15 running around with adults, you know, in the streets, learning how to steal cars, learning, you know, doing burglaries.
You become an adult real quick, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys met that early?
No. But when you become a real adult real quick.
Yeah.
When you're in that.
Yeah.
Like I said, where I'm from is, I always felt like I did a lot of fucked up shit, but I always made the right decisions because I never got hooked on drugs, you know, like, but all my friends got hooked on drugs, but I was always like strong enough to like, no, like, kid, I'm not gonna, because my dad would always be like, you know, I had uncles and stuff hooked on it. He's like, oh, you'll be like, what, your uncle? Right. And I would always be like, fuck no.
Hell no.
But so I did all the shit with them, like, you know, like the cars and all that stuff, but I just would, when it came to the drug part, that's when I was like, oh, no, I'm good. Yeah. I'm good with that, you know?
If it had been different relationship with the family and to where like, I mean, obviously you felt like you were going to be judged rather than there was going to be acceptance and some guidance through all that trauma. Yeah. How do you think that would have changed everything for you?
I think it would have helped me get help sooner. Like, instead of holding that weight and carrying it alone for 15 years, like my family would have been there for me. And I know that for a fact, you know, like even today, they're like, man, I wish you came to us. You know, when I first told my mom about it, she actually heard about it when I was doing a speaking event, and she was there, and I had to tell her, I'm like, Mom, you're gonna hear some stuff that you never knew, you know. And when she was sitting in the audience and she heard my story, she just was like crying and bawling and like, why didn't you come to me? Like, why? We were there for you, waiting for, you know what I mean, the whole time. But in that moment, like, I just felt like I had nobody, because that's what I believed. I make myself believe that. You know, like it's easier to run from your problems. It's easier to hide from the people who love you because, you know, I felt embarrassed of who I was. Like I put myself in these predicaments and like I knew what they were going to say, but like I didn't give them that chance to be there for me. You know what I mean? I just used that as my reason to keep running.
Was there like anything different, just as a parent now, is there anything you noticed they could have done different possibly in terms of passing on judgment or?
I think it didn't help me when they were like, don't come around, you know? They didn't want it around. And I understand, like they thought that would help me get sober. Like they thought if they say, oh, you know, don't come around until you're off that shit, that I would be able to just get off of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the drugs, like people don't realize, like especially meth, it grabs you. It grabs you. Like was like a chain. Like I was wearing shackles my whole life. You know, when I was on that drug, it keeps you stuck in more ways than one. Like that was literally the worst part of my life. But at the same time, it built me up. It built me up because today I'm a stronger person. Today I'm very streetwise. I'm very, you know, street smart. I have a lot of wisdom to pass on to my son. And it's crazy because like I was just actually talking to my husband about this, and we were watching, you know, this 14-year-old boy get sentenced for being a part of a murder, and he was getting sentenced to a lot of time. And I just started crying because I put myself in that lady's predicament and her son. And I was like, man, I don't ever want my son to feel like he got to turn to the streets for anything, you know? Like, I want to teach him what I've been through, you know? And I want him to be better than I ever was. Yeah. And so like being a parent just changes you. You know, it makes you realize like all that shit you used to do is no longer good enough. You know, even like for me, like working my 9 to 5, I was driving, you know, to and from work every day with my son. And I realized it wasn't enough anymore. I was like, I don't want to teach him to do this. Like, I don't want to teach him to work for somebody else for his whole life. And so I fucking quit my job. Like I quit my job to pursue my business. Like I had no clue where it would take me. You know, I didn't know if I was going to have one customer or not. Like I just took a leap of faith and I said, I need to be more than what I am. You know, like I need to do more with my life. And that's just what I did.
And it was just on a morning drive to school
It was
or something?
on a morning drive to work. I was driving to work and I was praying. I was praying to God and I was asking him for a financial breakthrough. I was asking him for guidance. I was asking him to like just give me an idea, you know, show me what to do, you know, show me so I don't have to work for, you know, the same people forever. You know, I was working in an office for over 3 years, and you know when you doing the same thing and you know there's no growth, you know, it's like you're running on a treadmill and you're never gonna go nowhere. And I hated that feeling, you know, and I was lugging my son with me to work every day, and I was just like, I don't want to teach him this. I want to teach him how to be independent, how to be, you know, a leader, how to and take risk for the right reason. You know, like I did enough taking risk in my life as far as the bad side. Now it's time to take good risk as far as like, you know, risking it all for your business, you know, and having faith in yourself and your business. Like that's what I did. And one day, and it was, I literally remember the date. It was January 12th. January 12th, I had the vision. It was like a few days after I prayed. I had the vision. I just envisioned selling garlic shrimp for some reason. It was like, as odd as that sounds, like I just had a vision. And
were you like craving garlic shrimp?
I was just thinking about it, and I told my husband.
Do you see like a fucking commercial with garlic shrimp?
No, man. It was just like a thought in my head.
God just dropped garlic shrimp on
a desert and just hallucinating a mirage.
And I just told my husband, I was like, hey, babe, we will start selling shrimp. And he was like, what kind of shrimp? And I was like, garlic shrimp.
He's not from
He's from Nebraska.
So does he know about like you know, like Hawaii people, we love our garlic shrimp, right?
Yeah.
Did he know
I took him a few times.
Yeah.
I took him like 3-4 times back home. So I took him to all the spots, you know, and he knows. He saw the trucks. He saw the line. He saw,
crazy.
You know what I mean? I introduced him to
I'm from like Whitmore, so we're like Giovanni
right
Shrimp.
Yeah, you guys are right there.
I remember going to Giovanni Shrimp when it was like $8 a plate.
Yeah.
No line.
That's a long time ago.
No line. My friend used to work there. We used to go there and she just fucking slide us plates on the side. and then like to go back and see what it turned into now. It's like, holy, bro, I don't even want to eat there because the line is so long.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
The truck don't even go anywhere. Like it's just there, and that's it. And then people just stand in line.
The parking is nuts over there too.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So like I had that vision, and I was like, you know what? I cannot think of not one business out here who sells like the garlic shrimp like back home.
Yep.
And then I said, we're gonna be the next garlic shrimp for the Night Island. And it was crazy because I didn't know if anyone was gonna buy my shit. Like I didn't know anything. I just was like, so boom, I went on Amazon. I started buying woks. I started buying all my supplies.
But do you have a cooking experience? Are you a chef?
Yes, I do. I cooked in prison.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay. I worked in the kitchen.
Like, I could have a fucking vision, but there's no way in hell I'm gonna cook anything because I can't cook to save my life.
And just cooking in prison like a flex. Like I just think about like SpongeBob.
No, it's because you learn how to cook for mass amounts of people.
Okay.
Like 500 people at once. You know, you gotta
okay.
So like their pots and their mixers, like you gotta stand up and hold the mixers like this. You know what I mean? So,
but
I mean,
are you like, were you cooking like good food or like?
Just regular prison menu.
What'd you learn in there? Like
how to cook for plenty people. How to cook fast.
And it was an actual like tangible skill that you were able to take out.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And then you learn like food safety and protocols, practices, you know, sanitary stuff, you know, like it's just, you pick up skills where you can. And I mean, it might sound funny to you, but like prison food, like, you know, with commissary, like when we were locked up and had COVID, we had to be creative, you know, like, so we use our
You was in there during COVID?
I was in there during COVID.
Wow.
I thought you was out, no? You got out after COVID?
2 years after. So I only been out just over 3 years right now.
Wow. Fuck, I could have swore it's longer than that.
No.
Did you go out and go back? Did you come out, go back in?
I came out briefly, and then I found out there was another case, a federal case.
You was here though, right?
I was in Hawaii. And then I went back in.
I thought I swore
I did another 3 years, and then I came out. So I came out to Vegas. Yeah.
Also, I ran into you when you just got back to Vegas.
Yep. Yeah. So I just been out like October made 3 years. October 28 made 3 years.
That's awesome. And then in 3 years to turn it, like go through all that. Because I seen you like use a limo driver.
Yeah.
The office job, obviously.
Yeah. I was doing both.
Then remember, I think one time all of us went out, and then I think you forgot like your something, and I dropped it off to you, and you was driving the golf cart for security at.
I was doing it all.
She pulled up with the golf cart. She's like, "You got my stuff," and I was like, "Yeah." And then she's like, "Okay," and I handed it to her. She's like, "Okay, see you later." Boom, and she just left. I was like, "Oh shit, okay."
I know. I was doing. So my first job out of prison, I was doing security, and it was crazy because like, you know, we from the streets, so we get, you know, we...
And you was on Sahara, too.
Yeah, Sahara and Decatur.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, gosh.
So people over there running stuff out, and I try to just jack them right back, and I'm like, give me this shit, you know what I mean? Like, but we're not supposed to do that. So, like, I went from that job to the office job, and I was driving limos at the same time. I was working 2 jobs, doing the, driving the limos and stuff on the weekends, working during the office during the week. And I was just hustling, you know what I mean? Trying to stay busy. It was like, I was just got out of prison. So now I'm really trying to get my life back together. Like I had $2,000 coming out of prison, and I bought a fucking Honda. The window couldn't even roll up. You know what I mean? The window, I had to put a piece of metal over there for hold the window up so the thing wouldn't always roll down. Like I had to rebuild my life from scratch. And within 1 year, so I met my husband doing that job. He just came out of prison. He did like 16 years. And he just came out. We met like a week after he came out. He hired. He came on as the security too, same job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's how we met.
I thought there was like an app or something like Prison Natural.
No, no, we're not on Love After Lockup, okay? No, but that's how we met, and then we started dating like about 3 months later, and then 1 year after dating, he proposed.
Wow.
And we got married. We bought our house.
Boom, boom.
When it's the right thing, you just know.
Yeah.
When you're on the right path, it's like everything just feels right. You know, when
is it because he was 16 years and then years and he's like, we just
meshed. Yeah. Like we were, and he's not a drug addict.
Yeah, he's cool. Yeah, he's cool.
He's hella cool. He's a really good guy. You know, he was in prison for robbing a bunch of banks. Like he was doing that for like 5 years before he got caught. And so
he's doing pretty good then for a while.
Yeah. And so like he was, And so me and him we happened to meet, and we became really good friends. And then a year after dating, he proposed. We bought our house. We had our son. We got, we had got married, all of that stuff.
I was going to ask you, are you pregnant right now? Because this is like I
had a miscarriage.
Okay.
I had a miscarriage in the end of January.
Okay.
Yeah. I was a little over 2 months pregnant to a girl. And
I think I saw you post something about it, but I was like, it's kind of a scary subject to ask a girl.
Yeah, I was 8 weeks pregnant, and then I had a miscarriage in the middle of dinner. So yeah, that happened. But I refused to remove the post because I don't want to pretend like it was never happened. To me, it's still very much alive.
I just like sometimes you ask some girl and you fucking dummy. I'm no.
Have you ever done that in real life?
Yeah, I have done that.
Of course.
Times.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh fuck, I feel like an idiot.
Yeah.
But I saw a post. I just was like, I was just trying to.
Yeah, I lost a baby in January.
Your mental fortitude, though, the mental strength, the way you even talk about it right now. So
yeah, I had a month to mourn, and that's when I had clarity. When I was going through my mourning, and that was when I was like, you know what, I gotta quit this job. I gotta do something different in my life. Like I need to pull myself up, and that's what I did. I just took a leap of faith. And it's crazy because like how I was telling you guys on that day when I had the vision, and I told my husband, and he was like, yeah, let's do it. I went on Amazon. I bought me on supplies, like the plates, the clamshell plates. I bought me that. I bought forks. I bought napkins, and then I bought like the woks, everything I needed. So then now I started brainstorming like what recipes I wanted to do, because I made all the recipes myself. Like nobody can say that I stole their recipe. Nobody can say that I found it online because my recipe is not online. My seasonings, my sauces, I made them all myself. And so I just was like, okay, let me try this. So I just cooked one day. And I had a vision of what menu I wanted and everything, and I made each item on my menu and I took pictures of it. And then I just sent it to like 3 of my close friends, and they all came over that day. They was like, oh, I'll get some. And that day, Kalena was my first customer.
Wow.
Yeah, she spent $40. She bought 2 plates, and she was my first customer. And that's why today, like, I have something called the Kalena combo, like in light of her being my first customer, So, and I haven't even been in business 3 months yet.
It's quick. Yeah, it's quick.
It's, like
I feel like you do everything quick.
Yeah.
Quick to get on. You're quick to get married. Buy one house. Shrimp truck.
For real.
Yeah.
Like when me and my husband got together, we wasn't even supposed to be affiliated because we both was on federal probation. Yeah. So he actually got violated for that. Like, and then when she found out we bought a house, they was going to send him back to prison. But like he went in front of a judge and explained like, look, normally, and the judge even said, like, normally people come out of prison, they go back, they start fucking
and
up.
They do
He's like, you're doing exactly what we want you to do. The only thing is, like, you never get permission, because he's not supposed to talk to another felon. He's not supposed to open up lines of credit. You're not supposed to make big purchases. And so...
do you think that holds people back?
100%. Right? 100%. And we're over here, we're both on federal probation, so we're like living in fear, like, fuck, I hope they don't catch us. Like, there's times if the PO came over, I had to hide in the shower, like, just keep the shower curtain closed and she's doing a whole walkthrough. Like, for real. Like, it was just, but we did what we had to do to keep ourselves safe, And then by then, it was already too serious to, we're about to get married, And then we had a kid, so it was like, it's all the way already. We're all.
But like now, it's the judge said it's good and everything.
Yeah. So we're both off of paper now.
Model citizens.
Off paper. Yeah. And the judge said that. The judge was like, "You guys both are like, doing great, and that's what they want, So, yeah, that's
the fact that that's a problem though. That
they violated him. He had to go to court and everything because he bought a house without their permission. Yeah.
You would think they would want you to go in that direction, right?
100%.
Not make it harder for you.
Yeah.
To start a business.
But it is though. That's something that a lot of people don't realize is that like when you come out of prison, everything's against you. Everything. Like it don't matter if you did 5 years, 20 years. Like you come out of prison, you have this red flag on your forehead, and every single time someone runs a background check, all they see is what's on paper. So for me, like there was times when companies were like, "Oh my God, we're so excited for you to start." Boom, they get my background check back, and they're like, "We're so sorry, we cannot move forward," because they see what's on paper and like. You can't just prove to them like that's not who I am anymore. Yeah. Like I did my time. I served my time. That's not who I am anymore. But it's always we have to work 100 times harder because not only are we battling our inner demons, we're battling, removing ourselves from places and people that brought us down. But now we got to deal with our stigma, like our label, our category, like we're categorized. People categorize us because, oh, that's an ex-drug addict or that's an ex, criminal or she's a felon. Like, everybody talks about felons. Like, yes, we're a felon, but like that's not who I am today. Yeah. Like a
lot of my closest family and like guys I know in like really successful businesses are ex-felons.
Yeah, a lot of us were drug dealers.
And they went to college. Yeah, you know how to flip. You know how to,
So, like, for me, I was always a hustler. Like, I went from selling drugs to selling fucking, what is those pickle kits you guys bought?
Oh, yeah.
Candied fruit you guys bought? Yeah. Like, you guys bought
my girl,
all that
like,
stuff.
she posts stuff and then my girl always buys it. Because my daughter loves pickles. So she's like, oh, auntie, brought pickles. And we did this whole, like, TikTok thing. And I was like, okay, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, as long as I'm not selling drugs, I don't feel like I have anything to be, embarrassed about. You know, and for me, like, when I got sober when my brother passed, somebody had given him drugs. And I vowed to, like, when I got sober, I vowed to make it a point of my life to, like, help kids make better choices, you know, like, help them realize, like, because my brother wasn't a drug addict at all. He was a good kid. Like, he was 20 years old. It was 2 weeks before he turned 21, and they were just at a rave, and they were drinking alcohol, and one of his friends gave him a pill, and that pill stopped his heart within 10 minutes, and he died. Like, he died right there, and all his friends ran away. All of them abandoned him. So, like, he didn't even get anybody trying to help him. You know what I mean? Because he probably would have survived had they got him to, the doctor, the hospital in time. But like, so like when that happened and I lost my brother, it made me realize, like, I need to do something with my life to make a change, you know, because I could easily give somebody drugs that takes their life, you know? And so when I got sober, so right now I've been sober over 8 years. I've been clean and sober over 8 years. And like, I pretty much dedicate my free time to helping the youth. And I try to speak to them at least 2-3 times a month, you know, at different schools out here in Vegas. And with this program that I'm involved in called Real Talk, and I just want to make a difference. Like, if I can stop them from making the same choices that I did, then I've succeeded, you know?
How do you stop kids from taking drugs?
You tell them the truth about it and you be transparent. A lot of times me growing up, all we had was like dare. They say like, don't do drugs or stay in school, but nobody goes into depth. Like, why? Why shouldn't I do drugs? Because on TV, I see all these rappers doing drugs. On movies, I see all these people having fun doing drugs and selling drugs and making all this money. So like, they don't understand why. Why not? Because it looks cool to them. It's presented by society as something cool to do. Mm-hmm. And so like, when you share the reality and the dangers of it, that's why I get so deep when I share my story to the teens. I don't hold nothing back because I want them to know, yes, like, you can die, you know. Yes, I was living in a car on the side of the road. You know, I was sleeping in people's yards, using their water hose to take a shower sometimes, you know, like sleeping in abandoned houses. Like, yes, it gets fucking bad. It's a horrible life. And it's not all like, you know, glitz and glam like you guys think it is. You know, like doing drugs is not a joke. It can either destroy your whole life or get you killed or get you
in jail,
put in prison.
I think too, like, if you get to see it firsthand, then it is like it definitely, like, if for me, like I was saying, like where I grew up, I seen it a lot. Mm-hmm. But my choices was always like, okay, like I knew between right and wrong. Yeah. Because like my dad's older brother, like we grew up different. Like the way I grew up way different. Like we was exposed to all that. Yeah. Because my uncles and everybody sold it, right? But my dad's brother was a multi-millionaire. Houses, Pokai Bay, Makakilo. They had townhouses in Waikiki. They had gambling houses. They had strip clubs. So we grew up in that, seeing it, right? But to see him get hooked on a drug, like my dad knew when it was his time. And my dad got what he needed to do and then got what he needed to get. And then he went straight and legal and legit.
Smart.
My uncle went from multimillionaire to homeless in Vegas. From all these houses. We grew up, like, there was like me and all my nieces and or my cousins. If one person got a dirt bike, we all got dirt bikes. Yeah. If one person got this, we all got it. Because we grew up
like that.
Like little better, right?
That's good.
But to see my uncle go from that to homeless in Vegas, and then my dad's trying to get him to like come back home and like just come back home already, and no, like I'm good. And then the only reason why he came back is because he's on his 3rd strike over here. And then we finally got him to come back, and my dad's like, bro, like this is your last chance, like you have to go sober and get clean. So he came back and he went clean, and then he got in the union, and then he like went clean until he passed away because of heart problems because of the heavy drug use. Yeah. But we got to witness
him being sober
from the top of the world to
nothing.
Yeah.
I
flew up here one time when I turned 21, and he called me and said, "Hey boy, let's go lunch." And already by the end of 21, I'm already like, you seen it all.
Yeah.
So we're at lunch, and he's just like, I was like, "Oh, uncle, you're not gonna eat." And I'm just asking him that on purpose. Uncle, you're not gonna eat. Like, don't like something. I'm good. And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like I saw him eating, and he's like sweating bullets.
Oh.
But just looking at him, like, bro, like you went from like, in our head, we was at
Held
one point,
yeah.
And onto that. So like that was always like a conscious thing when I was around. It was like, do I want to end up like that?
Yeah, I had a friend too that everyone used to go to his house. This guy had money. He had all the cars. All the TVs. His house was the party house. And one of my friends, decided to give him crack. And he went, he started buying crack from them. Then he started selling his TVs, selling his cars. Next thing you know, still to this day, he's still sleeping on one twin mattress by Makaha Cabanas in the bushes, like talking to himself.
Yeah. One bad batch to it, all it takes,
batch. Yeah, is all it takes. And I'm like, the way people cut their drugs nowadays, like it's so easy to get, either the fentanyl batch or you get the bad batch where you just lose your mind. Like even a classmate of mine.
See, that's why I was exposed to it. And that's why when I did the fucking PCP, and I thought I was gonna be retarded forever. It was in my head, like my dad, like, "Oh, you like be like your fucking uncle them over there, all fucked up talking to himself." And I think, no, I don't want to.
Yeah.
What do you guys mean by a bad batch?
It's just like a batch that is so
they
mixed,
cut it with something
cut it with
wrong,
all kinds of stuff. They put just to stretch the amount. So
make
say
it-
you get like 1 pound of pure whatever,
They're making
and
it into 2.
then you add 2 more pounds of all this cut and baking soda and and all these other things as fillers.
Pesticides
basically
and-
just fillers. So now you got 3 pounds when in reality you started with a pound of meth. You know, now you can sell. You got 3 pounds to sell. So now you're giving people this trash, drugs. No, I mean, don't get me wrong, drugs period is trash. But now you're giving these people all this stuff that's cut with these chemicals, and so like some people are just like
they never come back.
They never come back from it. Never come back from it. I know people who went in the store, grab literal bath salts, put them in their pipe, and smoke bath salt.
Bro, I seen one where I live in Whitmore, like this, we call her Cat Lady, but she would go into the little convenience store we have over there, and she'd get like Ajax, pour it in like in the like a container or whatever, and she like snort the Ajax. And I was like, bro, is it that far bad? Like, but she's talking to herself, right? Like they're gone, you know? They ain't coming back.
There's no coming back from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no matter if it's sobriety, nothing. It's just like your brain is totally rewired, like you're gone now. Yeah. Some people don't come back.
Yeah, they don't come back for real.
Like for real. Like I feel blessed. I feel blessed because like I still got all my teeth. I still got my, I still
that's all the original teeth too.
Yeah.
Oh shit,
like,
that's
I
pretty
still
good.
got my teeth. I still got my brain. Like I'm here. Like I got out of it.
That's the first sign is when they're talking to you like this.
Yeah.
And all this, the teeth is all gone, yeah. And they're trying to talk to you like, bro, I know it's gone. That's why I hear talking
Just
like
show us
this.
the
bro.
guns.
Yeah.
You don't need hide. Just show us the guns.
Probably, bro. We know it's not even there anymore. Stop.
So how old were you the first time you'd actually spent time in prison?
Probably like 16, 17.
How long was that first stint?
Not that long because I was going in and out. I kept getting saved because when it's your first times, like you get chances. You get chances. Plus I was young. I had no record. So, I was going in all the time. My thing was I would get high, then I would steal cars. I would get high, then I would break into, somebody's house, like just stupid ass shit like that. And so
It's quick. That's why.
I had so many charges for like UCPV, which is stolen cars. And so like I was going in and out, in and out, in and out. But when I actually stayed for like, some years, I started in 2005 and then again in 2019.
When you were stealing cars and high, what were the easiest cars to steal?
Dodges, Jeeps, Hondas, of course, Mustangs. For me, that's mine.
Honda, you can get in the window without even breaking it.
What year were you going for though? Like were there certain?
I don't know. I just knew visually like which ones was the ones. Yeah, it's just easy too.
Sometimes it's a little too easy, to be honest.
Tahoes was really easy too.
A little too easy.
All you need is a big flat head.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not proud. Please.
So
Please.
you take the cars and then to a
Then
chop shop or
No, we take the cars and do more crime with it.
like what?
Steal sounds, burglarize, rob people's houses, stuff like that. Find a drug dealer to, do whatever too.
It's a whole world, bro. A crazy world.
It's a world. It's a world of its own in in society. Like for real, it is a world because we only associate with our kind in that lifestyle. Like the only people I knew, I didn't know anybody who was good, who was clean, who was like respectable person. Like everybody I was around was like gangsters, drug dealers, criminals. Like that's what I was surrounded by. So like when I finally got clean and removed myself, it was a whole new world. Now it's like a whole new network of people, like, wow, good people, driven, accomplishing things in life. Like it was just like where I wanted to be.
So, I mean, especially since we were in Hawaii, the Not Even Once commercial, that campaign was so popular, right?
Which one?
The Not Even Once?
Never seen
you don't remember those?
I never seen it. I was probably locked up when it came out.
I guess it didn't work then.
What was it?
It was like a meth campaign of basically not doing meth, not even once.
Yeah.
And they had like a bunch of like super dramatic, like really theatrical commercials of like what would happen if you do drugs, and like
I missed it.
I never seen it.
I missed it.
I can tell. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But they're really good fucking campaigns.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering what your reaction was to seeing those at the time, but
I never see them. Yeah.
I swear they were running from like the early 2000s, 04, 03 to like maybe 2010, 2011.
Yeah, that was my first. Yeah, I was in women's prison during that whole time. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't see anything like that, but I know that like if maybe I had some kind of guidance growing up with like people, like basically kind of like doing what I do when I go to the schools and I talk, like, and don't get me wrong, it's fucking hard speaking in front of a group of 300, 400, 500 people that you don't know. And you're going to go up there and you're going to tell them all these things that you did.
You're most vulnerable.
Yeah. And it's like you're pouring out like your dirty laundry, and it's embarrassing sometimes. And it's like I get scared before I go on.
But the bigger picture is trying to save them. Right?
And I keep that goal in mind. Like when I go, I'm like, fuck, who cares what they think? Like I'm here to change lives. I'm here to make a difference. I'm here to stop these girls from taking the same path as me. I'm here to stop these guys from using drugs and dying like my brother did. Like I got to remember that that's the goal. And that's the reason why I put myself in this vulnerable
I also feel like maybe like what you've been through and like where I grew up is I don't feel like most people can like get through that,
Most people can't.
Yeah. They don't make the change,
Yeah. And it takes a lot of willpower.
Like I have a fucking cousin, like first cousin. Like we was all all my cousins were all public school, like started drinking early, smoking weed early. But my cousin was like private school, and they kind of kept him separated from us.
You guys are the hoodlums.
Yeah, but he's like bad till this day.
Because he got there late.
Yeah, he never, like by the time we got to college and stuff, or like not even college, but out of high school, I've been around it enough where like, I knew when to say no and if I should go or shouldn't go. I knew like the right decisions. But it's like I think he was so sheltered that when he went off to college, he didn't know how to say no.
Yeah.
And then it just, like he said, like that first time and just never did stop to this day.
Well, you get offered bigger things at those ages, right?
Yeah. That's why too, when I speak to the kids, I always tell them, I said, one day you're going to be put in this predicament. They're going to bring something to you and be like, oh, you want to try this? Like, you got to try this. And I said, you're going to have to find that moment, and you're going to have to remember what I'm talking to you about. I said, that's the moment when you're going to have to be a leader and set your boundaries and know how to not be a follower. I said, any one of you can be a follower. How many of you can be a leader? How many of you can say, fuck no, I don't want to do that shit. Get the fuck out of here with that. Like, I want to be somebody. You know what I mean? I want to do something with my life. Are you strong enough to do that? Or are you going to be like, oh yeah, let me try, just because they're offering you? Like I said, there's going to come a point in time when you have to stand up and basically fight for yourself, and that's what I want to teach my son how to do.
It's easy to give in to the peer pressure.
It's so easy. It's so
easy. My dad always, from a young age, he always instilled that in us. So you a leader or you a follower?
Yeah.
Like when we get in the truck, you the dog in the back or you the hunter in the front.
Exactly.
And I always that's something that I always think about to this day.
Because anybody can be a follower. Anybody can.
When I was working at Finley Kia, they had the general sales manager. He's gotten arrested for embezzling millions and whatnot. But
isn't that still going on right now?
Yeah, it's still going on. But like, he's the first person that gave me like Roxicid and like all kinds of like painkillers and whatnot. We would do like cocaine off the front desk and whatnot. But at that point, I didn't know. I felt like I didn't know anything. I was so new into the business, and he was I mean, he was only 30, but up to where guys were at like the end of their career, basically.
Yeah.
So it was almost like I was taking guidance from him to try to figure out like how to get there, basically.
Almost like Wolf of Wall Street.
Kind of, yeah. But I guess I was being a follower. I was trying to be led by someone, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
So how do you pick the right leaders or guide the kids
yourself,
to pick the right leaders?
You have to, I mean, you basically got to use your own discernment when it comes to that. Like, you have to know what you want out of your life. You want to know, you want something, you want to be somebody, you want to be a hair braider, a dancer, like a designer. Like, once you figure that out, you have to like go all in and pursue that, and anything that, or any crowd that will distract you from that is basically is not good for you.
Well, I think that's what I got caught up in was I was trying to
get like him, basically.
Who was like a hot young guy who was sitting on all these boards, NADA across the nation. Like he's.
But do you see what I'm saying about drugs can affect anybody? Mm-hmm. You can be the richest person, like have it all together. I said, but that doesn't, like, drugs does not discriminate.
Right.
Drugs doesn't discriminate and say, oh, I'm only gonna fuck with the poor people. Well, I'm only gonna, get these people addicted. It takes anybody who touches it.
And it was just, I felt like it was difficult because I felt that was just a part of it. Like that's what you needed to do to be in that position. You needed to. I had a mug in my office that I would just put my Adderall in, smash it up, and I'd probably put like 4 or 5 in there at a time, and we just throughout the day and just hit it like that, like it was a cup of coffee. And I just felt like that was part of what we had to do. It was part of the blueprint.
It was a starter kit for to be a salesman.
It was like part of your briefcase. It was a pen,
the Kia lead salesman sales kit.
Cocaine and Adderall,
basically.
Just hard, I feel like, with, again, not having that guidance.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard too because nowadays it's so easy. There's so much, it's so popular. Like drugs are so popular. Even sociable drugs. Like everybody knows when you're out there drinking in the clubs, there's at least fucking 60 guys there who got coke in their pocket. You know what I mean? It's like, it's become an accepted social thing, just like how beer is now, like it's become an accepted thing of society. So it's harder. To be honest, I think it's harder nowadays than it was, 30 years ago because it's like, it's so much more accepted.
And you see it more.
Yeah, it's everywhere more.
Like you know how everybody at that one time all the rap or like they still do it, but the lean phase.
Yeah.
I never understood it because I did lean. They're like, I was like, oh, make me up a cup. So I was like, fuck yeah, like holding the double cups, fucking acting all cool. Drank it and then I just fell asleep and I was like, bro, what?
So boring.
What the fuck? Like, why would you want to do this? Like I'm just fighting my sleep the whole time, Yeah. And but I tried it like twice and I was like, bro, it's not for me. I can't do it.
But how do you combat it? There's so much like art and culture and music that is glorifying.
It's totally glorifying. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to combat it. It's just basically about having your own mindset. It's either you want it or you don't. Like you want to be sober, you want to, do something with your life, or you don't. If you're content with like partying at the beaches every day and not having a career or not having anything for yourself, then by all means, maybe that is the life for you. But for me, I wasn't satisfied anymore. Like my life was, I wasn't satisfied because there was a point in time when I thought I was going to stay on drugs forever. Like I never thought that I'd ever change. I thought I was going to die with a pipe in my fucking hand. Like that is how, like, I was just like, yeah, I'm going to fucking do this forever. I'm going to sell drugs forever. I'm going to get high forever. Like, and I never thought of changing, but it wasn't until I started like losing people in my life, losing friends. And, they were dying to like overdoses, even one of my close friends got beat up for a bag like of dope this big and they beat him to death, put him in the ICU. He died. Oof. Like another one of my friends shot up dope. She got infected skin infection. She ended up dying. So like, there's so much people I started losing. And then when it came to my little brother, like that was like the wake up call, and I thought to myself, if this doesn't change you, nothing else will ever change you because you've already experienced the losses. You have already experienced the misery, the prison time. Like if this doesn't stop you from what you're doing, then you're not going to be saved. You're never going to change, And so like when that happened, it was a wake up call, and I prayed to God. I was like, God, please like take these demons away from me. Like take this addiction from me, please. Like, I don't want to be on drugs no more. Like, help me. And I did. And I booked a flight to stay in like a hotel by myself for 2 weeks. And that's how I sobered up. Like I bought all these snacks and all these, things. And I went to this hotel and I fucking gave away my pipe, gave away my drugs, and I just tried like my best to just sober up. So for 2 weeks I sobered up.
How was that?
It was hard. It was hard, but like the biggest thing was just not answering people, not, you know, being tempted to like reaffiliate myself. And so I actually started looking for an apartment to move to, because where I was, people like, my house is popular. Like people would just walk in the garage, like knock on my door, like, hey, what, you know, nothing, you know? So I had to remove myself, and I found a place in Mililani, got an apartment, and that's how I sobered up. Like I had to just, it was like my mind just changed. My mindset changed. I went from being okay with my life to like knowing I can't fucking do this no more. Like this is just, I wasted so many years, you know? And so losing my brother was like that wake up call that I needed. And it's sad to say, like, something that fucked up, something that devastating is what it took for me to get clean, you know? Like, and that's why too, like, I'm adamant, like, I will never touch drugs again. I will never touch drugs. I'll never fucking play with drugs. I'll never profit off of drugs. I'll never try and make you know what I mean? Like, because drugs destroyed my life. I dedicated, 20 years basically to drugs. And so like today, that same drive, that same hustle, I just put it into everything that's legal. You know, like, I don't care if I'm selling garlic shrimp, at least I'm not selling dope. You know, like, I do everything I can to level up my life, whether it's just me and my little family. Like I put that same drive into what it takes, you know? And like for us, when we're on drugs, we do anything, whatever it takes to stay high, basically. You know what I mean? Oh, we got to do a home invasion? Shoots, let's go. So why can't I put that same drive, that same energy, that same dedication into my life today? And that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing.
I love that.
Yeah. You have to, you know? Can't make excuses, because like, and it's like, if I could do all of that stuff, you know, just for drugs, then I have no excuse. Like, there's nothing, I shouldn't have a limit on how much I can do, you know? It's all about my mindset, how much I believe in myself, you know? And that's why I'm trying so hard today, you know, to just, I never thought I would have a food truck and just be selling, you know what I mean? Like, there's 200 people in line standing to eat food that I cooked with my own hands. Yeah. Like, I've never envisioned that.
Satisfying,
you know? Yeah.
How would you rate your shrimp or stack it up against Giovanni's or other greats from Hawaii?
Well, for one, it's different. It's different. Like, it's the way it's cooked and the style is it's just a different flavor, you know? Like, I'll never take it away from Giovanni's or Kahuku Shrimp Truck. They earned their title. But I will say, like, I never copied their recipes. Mine's is different flavors. Mine's is really saucy. Like, there's a lot of garlic, you know, a lot of sauce in every single flavor that I created. And mine's, I would say, like, my shit's fucking good.
It's good.
It's good.
It is really good.
It's good. And especially like me, I haven't, like I was telling you guys, like, I haven't even been in business 3 months yet.
It passed the eye test and it passed the taste test.
Yeah.
Like, I saw it on IG and I was like, oh, this motherfucker look good. And I have to order me a plate.
Yeah.
And then I got the taste test and I was, oh, this motherfucker good too. Shit.
What's your most popular items on the menu right now?
Probably the Kalena combo is the most popular, because it's like you get 2 in 1. Because you get the lemon butter garlic shrimp, and then you have the side of the hot and spicy sauce. So I think that's like the hottest seller. But all of them, I mean, the garlic scampi and the lemon butter, like, they sell like a lot. Like, Hawaiians love their garlic shrimp.
I like the lemon butter.
Yeah.
That's fire.
I'm on lemon butter.
Yeah.
So, but it is like, it's not, but like, don't you like what, like, going through all you went through and then where you're at now to see people wait in line?
Man, it's crazy.
Really, yeah.
It's crazy. Like, that first event that we did, when I was asking, you know, who was putting the event on, I was like, how much should I prep for? Like, just, you know, roundabout off the top of your head. She's like, oh, 60, 80. Bro, we had 200 something people in a line. I was like, and I looked out the window. I was like, looking out the window. I go, who's all this? What are they standing there? Go, that's your line. I was like, my line? And I was like, no fucking way. They're like, yeah. So that was the first time we did anything with the truck, anything in public. Like, that was how I learned, was that experience. So I was like, it was a good first run because it taught us, like, what to do, what's better. Like, you know, so now we have a good system.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so it was amazing. It was amazing. Like,
you sold out before you.
Sold out in 2
But what is that
hours.
feeling when, like, the line is long and you got to go outside and be like,
we're about to sell out, guys.
Sorry. There's like 50 more and there's no place left, you know?
Yeah, man. I had to, because we still had like probably 30 people in line. But I try to tell them ahead of time so they don't stay there waiting. But I just I gauge how much shrimp we got. And I was like, okay, guys, we're probably down to our last 25 plates. Like, let the people in line know, like, hey, we only got 25 more. So, you know, hopefully you catch us next time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's amazing. Like, it's a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of work.
Oh, for sure.
It's a lot. The prepping, the cleaning, like all that stuff that goes. Like, I don't just wake up and I just start cooking. Like, no, the prepping is like a 6-hour prep before each event. You know, the cleaning afterwards is like 2 to 3 hours every time. And so, it's a lot of work. But I mean, shit, that's
makes a living.
It's what's keeping us afloat. You know, my goal is to eventually have a franchise. You know, open up multiple restaurants, not only in Vegas but back home. You know, and maybe have like a restaurant in Makaha, where I'm from.
Hometown, yeah.
They get the Giovanni's on the North Shore side. I'll get the West, you know? So that's the goal.
So would you look at expanding other than just shrimp and adding other dishes?
I don't want to. I want to just be known for one thing because I don't want to create another dish that is not good. So I know I do the shrimp good, and that's good enough for me. So I rather just excel in one thing.
Specialize in one thing.
Yeah, specialize in one thing. Because if you go to Giovanni's or like, there's a line, and they're only ordering one thing. You know, so I want to keep it that way. Keep it simple. Not only that, but like I think that's a better business model because then I don't have to, you know, have all these other ingredients in stock. Right now, all I need is my shrimp, my garlic, my cabbage, my lemons. You know, and then all my sauces and seasonings, of course. But like, if I add steak to the menu, then that's just one more expense that I gotta keep in stock and just. So I just like to keep it simple. I think it's like less stress for me, you know.
Quality control as well.
Yeah.
Easier, yeah.
Yep.
You just specialize in one thing.
One thing.
Yeah.
Just one thing.
I feel like that's what I always tell people. They tell me, "Oh, you should do this, do it." I sell shirts.
Right.
I sell shirts and hats. Like, I ain't trying to do any other business. Yeah. This is what I do. I sell shirts and hats.
Yeah. Because then, I mean, you know, like, and that's why too, I'm constantly trying to like better what I give out. Like, even if it's something as simple as the rice, like, because I had
He's telling me about the,
you know, the rice being hard one time, like, because we got the top of the rice.
Oh,
you know
wait, can we talk about this?
She said she couldn't work the whole day. She was just thinking about it the whole day.
Well, you had someone actually.
Yes. Okay. So I had
a complaint.
I had one customer. She just wrote to me. She didn't come from a bad place or anything. She was just letting you know, hey sis, that we ordered some plates and a couple of the rice was like hard. And so it bothered me the whole day. Like, I couldn't even think because I was like, fucking rice was hard. Like, what the fuck, you know? And so then now I'm like, make sure we have saran wrap tinfoil plus one pan cover, you know, and then we keep them in the warmers and we have our rice pots in there. Like, we'll serve right out of the rice pot so that'll never happen again. Like, it's always like, how can I prevent that from ever happening? You know what I mean? Like, just simple things, you know, like simple things like that. I want to make sure, and even like when we put out the plates, I want to make sure they have a lot of sauce on their plate. I don't want, you know, I want to like continuously give them a quality plate.
Consistent.
Yeah, a quality plate. I don't want to, I'll always use a lot of garlic. I'll always use a lot of sauce. Like, that's what makes it good, you know? And so
well, the biggest thing is when you make a mistake in business like that, that's how you handle it.
Yeah.
Constructive criticism.
And I love constructive criticism. And I even told them, I was like, please let me comp your whole meal. Like, let me cook for you again. They're like, no. Your shrimp was fucking amazing. But I just was letting you know. And I was like, thank you for telling us, you know, like, and so I test the rice. Every single time we open a new stuff of rice, I said, test the rice, make sure nothing's hard. And so like they grab, you know, and test it and stuff.
Well, on top of that too, it's the energy that you're putting out. Like, you're cooking with love. You're serving with love. So this customer wasn't coming to bash you or the business or anything. They genuinely wanted to let you know, hey, like.
And she came back my very next event. She bought again. And I said, check the rice. She's like, rice is good.
Soft and fluffy.
Yeah, like I just, you know, little stuff like that. I want to continue bettering our business. And then even like our system now, as far as like cooking and plating, we have a better system now. Like, the customers won't wait in line for more than 5 minutes. You know, once they make their order.
Yeah, I've seen the change from.
Do you see the change?
From
the first till now.
Yeah.
Big change.
But like, even like the first event you did here to the
next one.
I seen the difference.
Yeah. So now we have a better system, you know, like, and that's part of business. You always want to level up. You always want to better yourself.
I was telling Alana, I was like, bro, like, the shrimp is good. I think I got to like figure out like a better system. And then I don't know how to cook, so I was like, maybe they need more woks or something. And I was like, fuck, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
what are you talking about, bro?
It's hard too because we already outgrew our truck.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, definitely. You could tell
from the first event. I was like, oh fuck.
There's four of you like in that small.
We already outgrew it. So, but now we have a really good system. Like we always learn. Nobody had training that day.
Yeah.
Nobody had training. This was everybody just met me at the spot. And we learned during the event. Like,
okay, I doing this, you doing this, you doing this.
I was like, hey, you get the cleanup, you get the plating, you doing this, you do the cashier.
You get the, yep.
And that was it. And so we was all learning. And then even the cashier one time, she was fucking putting all the orders on one ticket. And I was like, where does this order start and where does it end? Like, it was all written on one. And I'm like, you have to put their names so that we know who to call. Like, I was like, what order is this? You know, like we had all these things to fix. And even down to me changing my pans and having more pans so that the person who's doing the dishes, there's always clean pans available. Yeah. Like just little tweaks to make your business better, you know? So I'm like really proud.
I even walked up one time and she was like kind of taking a break. So she was working the register. And then I was like, I ordered something. She's like, and like she didn't know how to work the register. I didn't know how to work the register. She said, I usually cook. And I was like, well, do whatever you gotta do, like whatever.
Yeah, I had to ask my cousin. I was like, how do I do the sale again? Like, how do you do this? But now, like, I think we have a really good system. We're quicker, you know, like, and we know too, not to pre-plate the rice. Like, keep the rice in the pot, plate the rice last so that it's like stays warm, you know what I mean? Because when you leave rice uncovered,
it's all hard, especially out here.
Yeah, the air hits it, you know, it'll start. So now, like, we have these things that we make sure we don't do to keep the flow. Yeah. So hopefully by the end of the year, beginning of next year, we can open up our first spot.
Brick and mortar location, an actual restaurant.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna keep the trailer though.
Get places over here. I'm just saying.
I know. We gotta
big events.
Yeah. We wanna open up our first spot. We just have to. Our obligation is to pay off our trailer before the end of the year. By the end of the year. So once that's taken care of, then I want to level up. And take the next step. So
it's good. It's good when you have that like insight of where you want to get.
Yeah. My goal though is like my real goal to get. I know it's not anytime soon, but like I want to franchise Killah Kine Shrimp. Yeah. Like how Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
We get all kind of places. Yeah, we want that. We want that. Drive through and everything. Like whatever. I want multiple locations, franchise. I
hope I can roll up to the friends and family day when that does happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I really want that.
I could definitely see that model working out.
Yeah.
Especially even if it just starts on the West Coast, that would be huge.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about prison? What was the prison experience like?
For me, the worst part about prison is just missing your loved ones. For me, being around other prisoners wasn't nothing to me because I'm always fighting and I was always a strong person. So prison wasn't hard for me. It was the being away from my family that was hard. Mm-hmm. And, when you get sentenced and they're like, okay, you get 10 years. You're like, fuck, 10 years, like I'm going to be here for 10 years. And then you realize all the shit that you just had that you no longer have and that you're going to come out to nothing. And having to these people are going to tell you when you can shower, when you can eat, how long, you got 10 minutes to shower, it's like every single move is under someone else's, permission. And it's just, I always made myself comfortable. And that's a bad thing. It's a bad thing to get comfortable in prison. But that was just my nature. I'm from the streets and lived on the streets. So of course I'm going to easily make prison comfortable for me.
Nice, clean, comfy bed.
Yeah. Like it was nothing. And then, so I would try to make the best of my prison time. Like, having a girlfriend and doing all those kind of stuff to get the time to go by, but in reality, the hardest part is just when you lose family members and you're there and you can't even go to the funeral, and your mom's sick, having to go through some kind of surgery or something and you can't be there. Just those things that you miss that you realize you'll never be able to get back. You can't get that time back, and then when you're there, you're forced to contemplate all the dumb decisions that you made and you realize man, I could be outside, at the beach right now, but yet I spent all my time with these chronics who could give up two fucks about me, when I had my family, and my family was the only people who supported me. Like my grandma, my mom, literally had to get knee replacements and everything. And she'd come faithfully every weekend. She would come faithfully every weekend.
But what about when you're in there and like addiction wise? Like, is it like the least of your worry, or are you thinking like, oh, when I get out, fuck, I'm gonna...
when I get out, I wanted to be the biggest dope dealer and just not get caught. That was my mindset, you know. I mean, my mindset was foolish because at a point in time, I was like, it was like a goal of mine so that like when I die, like I get killed from the cops. Like that's how foolish my mindset was. Like I thought that was like a glorifying moment. That if I die, I want to make sure I die this way. You know, shoot out with the cops or some shit like that. Like, that's how stupid my mindset used to be, you know. But like being in prison, it's really just dealing with the reality of where you put yourself. You know, I had all these chances to make different decisions and I didn't. And so in reality, like prison was good for me. It was good for me because it was God's way of like telling you to slow down. Not only that, but the life I was living, I think that like I could have got myself killed. The things I was doing, the people I was stealing from, like just, it would have been no surprise had I gotten myself killed, you know. Even one day I came into prison and this lady, she's like a lady that like reads palms and kind of like a psychic. And I walked in and as soon as she saw me, she's like, came up to me, literally grabbed my arms and was like, you need to stop what you're doing. Cause she's like, you're gonna die a violent death. And it kind of stuck with me, you know, cause she's like, you're gonna die a violent death if you don't stop. She's like, you need to change your life. And I always remembered that because I believed her because that's the things I was doing. You know what I mean? I was putting myself in situations where fucking people was trying to kill me, you know, like, but at the time I just felt like I had nothing to lose. Like I didn't care for my life. Today I care for my life. Today I don't ever want to think of having to leave this earth anytime soon because I have a boy who, you know, looks up to me and depends on me, you know? So now I care for my life. Back then I didn't care. I didn't care if I died. Like there were times when this guy held me hostage and there was like 5 other guys with him and he had like a gun in my mouth and everything and I was begging him to shoot me. I was begging him to shoot me and telling him, I was like, do me the favor. I said, make my fucking day. And he was like, you fucking crazy bitch. Like I was begging him. I was like, please fucking kill me. I didn't want to live, you know? And so today I cherish my life.
Probably even more than because of what you went through, yeah.
Yeah.
How did that situation end?
They basically came, so they set me up and got me in someone's shack. And then they all pulled up in a car. And basically they were trying to get me to tell one of my goons to stop harassing them. So they're like, fucking tell him stop, you know, coming to my house. Because I had somebody going to his house, shooting at his house. And I was like, I'm not telling him because that guy ripped me off. So I was like, no, I'm not going to tell him that. And they all had guns pointing at me and I was like, and he was like whacking me in the head and I was like talking shit. Like my grandma hit me fucking harder than that. Like, come on, like what you going to do with that? Like, don't pull out the gun if you're not going to use it. You know what I mean? And so like, he was getting mad and I was like, I was like, you think you're going to, I said, do me the favor. I said, you think I fucking love my life? I said, pull the trigger, like kill me, fucking kill me. Like I said, I hate my fucking life. Do me the favor. You know, do something I don't have the fucking courage to do. And he's like, you fucking crazy bitch. I was like, fuck you. Kill me. You know, and he didn't. He was like, they fucking left. They left me. But before they left, they were like, yeah, those 2 hoes outside, that's for you. And I had a friend with me. They're like, those 2, because you know the big machines that dig the holes. It was in like a junkyard, in the back of a junkyard, and it was a big private property. And they had like these big holes that they dug with these excavators. And he was saying that those holes were for me and my friend. That they were gonna bury us. And I just didn't care. I didn't care about my life. But yeah, I mean, I'm here today. They didn't fucking kill me. They didn't shoot me. They left and that was it. Like, I crossed paths with him once in Hinamauka. I crossed paths with that guy in Hinamauka.
You remember me?
Fucking, he was in treatment. Wow. And he see me and he came up to me and he's like, hey, Terann, and he gave me a hug. But it was crazy because like, I let all that go. Because not only was I a different person and I did a lot of fucked up things to people, but so does every other addict. So what makes it like, I wasn't even mad anymore. Like I was over it, you know, but he saw me and he came up to me and was like, how you doing? Like, you good? You sober now? And I was like, yeah. And he had, you know, gained weight too. I knew he was sober. So So we both saw each other at fucking Hinamauka. And it's crazy because a lot of us addicts cross paths when we're in treatment. You know, either on probation, at the probation office, or in some fucking drug program.
It's kind of like when like old veterans see each other.
Exactly. Like
That's
in
how
a
you know Gary
house.
too, yeah?
Yeah, Gary.
Yeah. That's like Gary's my neighbor. Like our family houses are right next to each other.
Yeah,
but he was always in that life too.
Me and Gary, we used to run the streets together.
Yeah, he was in that life.
For real.
Like I said, like where I grew up, his
You
family
can
house
ask
is right
Gary.
next door.
Gary should have been here for this podcast. Like, Gary would have fucking said.
Oh, this podcast would be like 5 hours long. Then I can stop talking. But yeah, like he was in that whole life too, for a while.
Yeah. So it's like when you get sober, you kind of just let go of the resentments from that life because it's no longer the world you live in. You know, when I got sober, there was tons of people who owed me money, and I said, you know what? I need to take that as a loss because I no longer wanted to benefit from drugs. Like after losing my brother, I said, I don't want nothing to do with it. I don't want to make money off of it anymore. I just wanted to be like done with it. And so when you get sober, it's like you just have to let that part of your life go. You can't hold on to people and things like that, you know, because then you're having reservations. You still want to be 1 foot in, and, you know, like you have to completely be done. That's the only way it'll work. Some people try to keep 1 foot in the door, and that's where it fucks them.
It's so easy to get sucked back into, yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You see guys go sober for years, and they go right back in, one little thing, right?
Yeah, and it's a lot of time is acquaintances.
Yeah.
Still fucking with people you know smoke. What? If you trying to be sober, why are you gonna kick it with one of your friends from your addiction, knowing that guy get one pipe in his pocket and he smokes still? Like it's like you're allowing yourself, you know, to get pulled back in, having reservations basically.
Yeah. There's certain things that just pulls you back.
Oh yeah.
That's how I'm on Coca-Cola right now. Fuck.
Wait, what?
I never drink soda since last September.
He was gonna say Coke, but
no, Coca-Cola. No, you know how bro, I drink like I love my soda, but I started dieting, and I told myself I was gonna stop drinking soda. I started dieting, but I see one just fucking Coca-Cola or brah, fucking hands get all sweaty and everything.
How accurate is orange is the new black to real prison?
A lot of it is close. They just dramatize it a little bit, but in a girls' prison, ain't nobody raping nobody. Like, ain't nobody fucking gang banging girls in there. It's just
that's not hot.
Yeah, it's in girls like nobody.
This guy's just picturing orgy scissors all over the place, bro. Everybody just walking around and scissoring each other.
There's literally this girl. She was from Israel, and she was in prison. I was in Phoenix, Arizona, and she just came in, like blonde hair, blue eyes.
That
like
bitch.
She was a white collar crime, so it was like money embezzling, shit like that. Not like a criminal street, you know, person, right? So she comes in and she's brand new, and you can tell she's fucking scared. Like she don't even know how to act. She's like jumpy, and I'm like,
oh, you called her?
No. So I gave her hygienes. I was like, hey. So I gave her like, you know, shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, toothpaste, and toothbrush. I was like, hey, you know, because she's not gonna be able to shop until a couple of weeks. We just had store, so I gave it to her, and then she was like, what do you want for this? Like looking at me, and I'm like, what? What do I have to do for this? And I was like, nothing. Like, so later on we became friends, and she told me, she was like, hey, I gotta tell you something. She's like, I fucking thought
he's gonna rape her.
Yeah. I was like,
guarantee is calling dibs on that one,
you know
real
what
quick.
I mean? I was like, are you fucking kidding me? She's like, yeah, I feel so stupid now.
She was like really skinny too, or something, like small.
Yeah, like just a fucking, you know, a small, a petite.
Fucking, you keep walking up to her, fucking bitch, you're fucking mine. For the remaining 5 years here.
She thought
Get
that
clean for me.
Cause she'd be watching too much Orange is the New Black, okay? So I was like, bruh, calm the fuck down. Ain't nobody trying to take your coochie or anything like that. I was like, this is just some hygienes for you, you know? Like, so she had to like chill and just kind of like learn the ropes and how it is, but it was funny.
So no rape at all in women's prison? Nah.
No.
I
mean, girls give it
no
up.
dropping the
girls
soap
give
or
it
anything?
up freely in there.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of girlfriend relationships in there. Because that's how girls...
They're in fucking relationship in both prisons.
Yeah,
bro.
that's how people pass their time. That's just the real truth. Like a lot of girls who aren't gay will be gay. They call it gay for the stay because it's fun.
Everybody got to get their shit off, right?
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. It's just fun because now you have somebody to wake up to, and you guys can go breakfast together, and you guys can go to the rec yard and work out together. You know what I mean? Like you can braid my hair, I can braid yours. Like it's like companionship.
But there's no like massive muff parties where they're just like clamming against each other.
They have some clam parties, but not like, you know, like how they put it out there. It's not like the men's prisons, like when they do that kind of stuff. But girls who will come in and they've never been with a girl before, and like they'll pop their cherry in prison. Yeah.
They have dildos in prison?
Yeah, we make our own.
Whoa. Out of like what?
Pencils, pads, gloves.
What is that?
Pencil
Fucking
dick.
Cock of 24 pencils.
I mean, if you find some right now, I can make it for you guys. All you need is like 2 pencils, couple sanitary pads, one latex glove or 2. What else we put in there?
What is the guys gonna get the towel with the
You basically just get the pencils, you wrap them with the pads for the cushion, then you put the latex glove on the outside, and then you like double up the latex so protect whatever.
So nothing, it doesn't like break.
Yeah.
And just what about lube? What do you guys do for lube?
Vaseline. So it's fucking his like.
you gonna fucking look into him after this, yeah.
Are there any male prison guards and female prison?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. The males, you get the guys that are in there that easily manipulated from the girls, you get it all from them.
So, I was wondering like how often does that happen?
I mean, even for me, like I used to manipulate guy guards. They'd be like, "Can you bring some makeup? Can you bring this?" Like just contraband. That's all. Yeah. And like a lot of them are just easy because they don't get attention at home. So the girls in prison showing them attention, they bring food, they bring, all kinds of stuff. Contraband.
There's guys in there, like my cousin just sending me.
They put money on their books, everything.
My cousin just sending me pictures from prison. I'm like, bro, looking smooth as fuck right now with all that fucking brand new shoes, watches.
Yeah.
Bro, they have all kinds of cell phones, FaceTiming you and everything, bro.
That's why I got transferred. I got transferred from Phoenix prison to Florence because I was selling cell phones. I had alcohol like in the jugs and everything. I was putting them in these water bottles, selling them for $50.
Swipe, yeah.
Yeah.
My uncle said they had on swipe batch and then they went blind for like their vision got blurry for like so many hours.
Oh yeah.
So I guess they did a batch and something went wrong with the batch.
Probably fermented.
And they drank it and then they said their vision was all blurry for a while. I was like, what the fuck?
That happens when you drink like really heavy moonshine too.
Mm-hmm.
That same thing?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Lose your vision. When is the next event for Killah Kine Shrimp?
Friday. We got one on Friday, and then next weekend we have like an Easter one. Yeah.
Where's it at this Friday? Because this should come out tomorrow.
Deep Roots Harvest. Deep Roots Harvest, the dispensary.
Yeah.
So like we contracted and partnered with them to do their events, and all their customers, they like to give their customers like a gift, kind of, So like the customers come in, they buy products from them, and then they give them a ticket.
Yeah.
And
that's
then
that's the best gig.
Yeah. And then they just come out, give us their ticket, and we give them like a mini plate, half the size of a normal.
What would be the goal? Like to have like 5 or 6 businesses that every day you get to do that?
Yeah. Yeah. The goal, right now we only really work on the weekends, So, and that's because my husband still has his job Monday through Friday. So it's like we can't fully excel with our business because he's still doing that job. But he
gotta take the leap of faith pretty soon, right?
And he's down. He's ready to go. But it's just like, when is the right time for us? Because on top of that, now I have a 8-month-old son, so I gotta make sure I have a babysitter lined up. There's all these aspects of it that
it's always the scariest part about owning your own business, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because it's like, it's basically a leap of faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember when I had farmers. Like I was working construction, making good money already.
Mm-hmm.
I was making really good money, and I was telling all the old timers I'm gonna quit, and I'm gonna do my shirt business. They're like, "You gonna fucking quit this job that people dream of having for sell t-shirts, boy? What the fuck you thinking?" And I was like, "Fuck it." And then it's like, "This is a union job. Like people retire here." Right. I was like, "Bro, I'm not gonna be 50 years old looking like you guys. Like fuck that." Yeah. And then like, "You're gonna quit for sell t-shirts."
Right.
And I was I'm gonna quit for sell t-shirts. And then fuck my dad. I was talking to my dad because I was still scared,
Yeah,
I was scared, and my dad was like, "Boy, fuck him. Like you good at your job, so if this doesn't work, then you just go back.
Yeah.
Like no harm, no foul, like. But make sure you fucking put the energy out. So I chanced it, and then fucking the business turned into what it did. Mm-hmm. And then I see like all the old timers like after, and they're like, "Oh, good thing you sell shirts."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh yeah, fucking good thing it would work too."
And it's crazy because most people, they have business ideas, but they are scared to pull the trigger. So like they're afraid to take that leap of faith, and because it takes a lot to actually believe in yourself, your capabilities, Even like, not only that, but like growing a clientele, you have to put in work. Like you got to go on social media, like you got to advertise, you have to make posts and make content, because a business with no content, it just nowadays
not gonna be a business for much longer.
And it's so important. Like, and sometimes like if we slack off on our content, then you see like the orders slow down,
and a dip in business.
So it's like you have to do all of the above. And so that leap of faith I can understand, because I was scared as fuck. Like I was scared. And so like,
especially because you bought a house, a kid, no stability, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like I always tell people, like when I had that when I was working, I was a diesel mechanic, but it was making $40-something an hour, like really good money, right? But it's so easy. Like when I look back now, sometimes like, bro, it's so easy to just clock in.
Yep. Do your 8 hours,
10 hours, clock out, no worries in the world.
None. Now you back to
then
your
you
life.
go
now
do your
you
thing.
work 24/7. Now it's like, we quit our jobs to work for ourselves, but now we work 24/7.
2 times, 3 times as much. Yeah. Even like, bro, sometimes we're at home, we're laying in bed, and then you know the Ring camera, like Amazon comes and they'll drop something off, and I'll be like, oh fuck, there's a thing on order.
Yeah.
And then I get up and get ready. Alana's, where you guys? To the shop. I gotta install this thing inside the podcast room. And she said, do it tomorrow. I said, no, fuck, I gotta do it now. Like, I'm not gonna be able to sleep if I don't do them now. You know, like, so it just never stops. And then the social media and then
that's a whole job
networking.
In itself. That social media is a whole job in itself. Sometimes my husband is like, bro, you done yet or what? Like, I'm on my phone for like 3 hours. I'm like, hold on, I'm trying to make a reel. Like,
or caption, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes Sue laughs because I'm working on captions. She's like, what are you doing? And I'm taking long, and then she looks at me, she said, are you tearing? I was like, yeah, because I'm writing a fucking caption right now.
This is from the heart.
Yeah, this is a fucking deep one right now.
Emotional.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work. Nowadays, businesses thrive off of social media.
Yeah. Yeah. And your networking skills, right?
Yeah.
What drew so much people to the first event for the shrimp truck?
Bro, I don't know.
No, really.
Was there any social media?
I talked about it. Like,
she has a social media presence, and everybody. Like, to me, what I feel like it was your story. I talked about it.
Yeah, I shared.
But your story of like obviously we're from Oahu, so like he's from Big Island, so you don't know her as much. But you seen like Terann the fucking mugshots, and she's doing all these things at the schools, talking to the kids. But to me, it was like almost you're in this path where you're inspiring and you're doing good for yourself. So we want to go and support.
Yeah,
it was like more. Okay, we want to support because she's doing something good for herself.
Yeah.
And that was just off of like the Instagram stories, or
and I spoke about it like once on like I made like a video clip about it, and I said like this is our first public appearance. You know, we're nervous, but we're excited, and like man, people were literally standing in line for like 45 minutes, and like people came to my next event and was like, "Girl, I was trying to get your shrimp the last time." She's like, "I didn't get to."
I think Alana was the same thing. We ran out when she went, or
yeah. And so
but even like when a lot of them, like, because Alana is like a fucking shopper, online shopper, right?
Yeah.
And then like Terrann's dropping off pickles, and I'm like, bro,
Candy
like,
fruit.
what the fuck are you ordering? And she's like, it's from Terann. I'm kind of like, okay, like, Ken's cool. It's from her.
Yeah.
Cool. I support.
The next one was a tray of candy fruit.
Yeah, like I support, like, because she's doing the right thing. Yeah. So it's a support thing. Yeah. But if it was like anybody else, I'd be like, stop fucking buying that stupid shit. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Stop fucking buying that, right? Yeah. But like for me, it's her story of where she came from. And then like obviously we just found out more heavy shit. Yeah. So even more you'd want to support, you know?
Right.
And my biggest thing is to show people that you basically you can do whatever you believe you can. Because if you believe you can't, then you're not. You know? But for me, like I was sharing with you guys earlier, January 12th is when I had the vision of selling shrimp. January 22nd is when I made my first plates, made my first sale. I created the business Instagram. So nobody knew we existed. January 22nd, you know. February 7th, we went ahead and like bought our trailer. And this is with no customers, no nothing. This is all just a leap of faith. Yeah, even my mom was like, "Are you sure you're going to do this? Like, I haven't even tried your shrimp." Like, she's like, "Is it good?" Like, you know, like, I was like, "Yes, Mom. Yes. The next time you come up here, we're going to have a fucking food truck." Like, she's like, "Okay. Like, you're really going to quit your job?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to quit that job. Fuck that job already. You know, like, I want to do this. I want to be my own boss." You know? And she's like, "Okay, well, I support you." And we did. February 7th, we bought our food truck. And like March, I think it was February 20 something was that first event.
Yeah.
And it was nuts. Like the amount of people who came out for, just to get plates.
And it's the first of its kind, I think,
There is
first,
no other Ninth Island garlic shrimp food truck. There is none. If there is after this, it's because I gave them the idea. Yeah. But my name is being in the process of being trademarked and everything. So they can't be saying that their shrimp is Killah Kine.
Yeah. You don't want Killah Kine Shrimp.
Yeah.
Small Kine your shrimp.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think like when God's hand is upon your business, like nothing can, of course you're going to have your roller coaster moments, your ups and downs.
Business.
There's always going to have those bad days, when you make no sales.
That's just business. Yeah.
It's just business. But like when his hand is upon your business, like you don't have to worry because he's going to open those doors. He's going to make those connections. Like
I always thought too, like say like you're obviously you're paying attention already. So if you're not doing the post, the sales dip.
Yeah.
So if there's no sales, like what did you do wrong that day or that week or what,
Yeah.
So you can make your adjustments, right?
Yeah, because my husband would ask, "Oh, what? Nobody orders?" Because we was doing like 500 in sales a day from my house.
Yeah.
From my house, like people was pulling up, like just buying shrimp. Like there was people pulling up while there's other people waiting.
Like a crack house,
Well, yeah. And then my neighbors are like, "What you selling?" And so now 2 of my neighbors across the street, they buy shrimp all the time from us. But like then it went to like a couple of days where we didn't have any sales, and my husband would ask, he's like, "How come nobody ordered today?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's because I'm slacking on my posts. Like it's because I'm not posting any content." He's like, "Well, what are you waiting for? Like, do something, And so I'll be like, oh, "Yeah, I will." And I would create a reel, do all that stuff. But it is time consuming, and especially me being a mom. Like I'm a stay-at-home mom too, so my son demands so much attention. And it's really like superhero shit, like dealing with being a mom and a business owner. And, I want to take care of my husband too. Sometimes I neglect my husband. Yeah. And it's like, you want to find balance so you're not neglecting your family in the process of running a business. And then you don't want to neglect your business too, because that's what keeps the roof over. Yeah. That balance is hard.
That's how I always thought with like farmers was like, because I missed a lot with the kids, like the first 2 kids growing up.
Right.
But I was always in my mind as a kid, like I want to fucking do this. We're gonna make the money, and they're gonna see the sacrifice, and they're gonna get to reap the rewards when I do get it there. But like sometimes I'm kind of sad that I missed out a lot on what them growing up. But then we have 2 houses in Vegas. We have a house in Hawaii. Like so.
You have
I always look back like,
hey,
fuck, did I do right? Like did I do it right? But that's why now I try to spend way more time with them. Like when I had farmers, like a lot of them wasn't even allowed at the shops or the warehouse.
Oh, wow.
Because the brand was such a party brand. But this time around, I was like, I gotta make it more so I can have my kids here. Yeah. So my kids, they come here, they hang out. Yeah. But before, they weren't even allowed at anything. Events, shops, nothing,
Yeah.
I feel like Honor's brand in general just has more of a family vibe to it.
Yeah, I wanted it to be more like. Of course, we do have the party side of it.
Yeah, and the bikers.
But I try to make it so that the kids can be here and it's more a family thing.
Yep, I like that.
Because and like I said, you can get lost. That other brand, you could get lost so quick in that life too. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was a crazy lifestyle.
Yeah, it was really fun, but sometimes I miss it. But
yeah.
Anything else you want to promote before we do get out of here?
No, I'm blessed. Thank you guys for having me here. I'm honored to be here as well.
Pleasure.
I'm glad I got to just share, parts of my story as well. I hope to inspire people, coming from a drug addict, a felon, someone who did most of their time and most of their life on the streets and in prison. This is my main goal, is just to let people know that it's all about your mindset and, belief in yourself. Whatever you believe you can do it.
What about as far as like when you do talk to kids, like where is that? Where do you do those things? Right?
At random schools. So I'm actually partnered with LV, Metro Police Department, as well as Real Talk. Real Talk is a program that does the first Tuesday of every month. So we have we speak to the youth, about like 3 or 4 speakers, speak to them like every month, and basically get them through like this program. They listen to our stories. We pay for their sports. Like we give each kid $100 towards sports per month. And it's just to like keep them on the right track,
That's
basically,
great.
you know.
Is it kids that's already going out on that path?
Yeah,
Or?
some of them already had been through the court system, stuff like that, like kids who are high risk. And then I also have another cop friend that pulled me over in the past, and she found out who I was, and she's like, I have a youth group, and can you come and speak to them? And so that's how I actually started speaking out here, is being pulled over.
And don't you like, now that the shrimp business is on its path, do you think it's like a better, like it's even more, you can show them you can show them
the positive.
from this to what you can if you're,
because I can talk about the negative till I'm blue in the face. Like those stories won't ever end. Like I have an endless amount of those stories, but now the positive, like I have something to show. Like even like just buying a house, buying a home. Like majority of my family never did that. Like not my mom, you know, my dad, like, you know, nobody in my family really did that. And so for us to actually do it right out of prison, like that was an achievement in itself, you know, especially us coming from Hawaii. Like you already know how hard
to buy a house,
it is for, like that's usually like something that we feel is out of our reach because everything's so overpriced, you know? So like coming here and being able to do that, that was huge for us. That was huge. Like becoming homeowners.
big accomplishment,
Yeah.
I have friends that moved here and I tell them, bro, like you moving here, just like you're moving from home and you was like renting, but buy your house right away.
Yeah.
If that's what, get it out of the way, get it, like no matter how hard you think it is, get it out of the way. And then now it's just maintaining after that, right?
Yep.
That's really awesome though. To
Thank
see
you.
like the progression. Like and I've been like even before we met, like officially met, I already knew who you were, or, like, and the stories already.
Yeah.
So to see where it is at now, that's why I was telling Justin, I was like, fuck, we gotta bring her on, bro. Like, because it's bigger than like the shrimp truck and whatever. The goal is like the next generation. How can we make a difference and a change in that, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we can do a podcast in 5 years to see where I'm at.
Yeah.
In 5 years.
I feel like we'll be doing another one before that.
I feel like we never even touched a fraction of the stories.
We could go for hours.
Yeah.
Justin's still thinking about the prison orgies.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, I am. I've never thought about a woman dropping soap until today. It's got to be a beautiful sight. Just opening up and, you know. Anyway, anything to plug before we get out of here?
What do we have? Oh, I got Level Up anime and gaming convention, which is the really, really big one. Last year, 60,000 people showed up a day. So I got Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Got a booth in there.
Where?
That's at Las Vegas Convention Center.
Oh.
What day is that?
It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. April 25, 26, 27.
Oh, next weekend.
Yeah, and we're the first ones to ever do like a live mural.
Oh,
so I got my friend, like he's a well-known muralist, so he's gonna be painting a live mural.
Dope.
And we got a merch drop that's gonna be matching it. Claw games. Still trying to figure out what I'm gonna dress up as. Because it is anime.
You're gonna
and
do
gaming.
like some kind of like
I feel like I have to, right? Like
should.
it's 60,000 people's dressed up.
should.
I'm not gonna be
The
only
only
dressed
one.
up, right? So I'm trying to figure out like what costume I should wear.
just
Like,
about like a cook or something, like a chef,
I was thinking like
or like a gangster.
I was thinking about buying like a Luigi concert or
Luigi
a
costume?
Mario, but getting it extra small.
Oh,
It's like really tight. I don't know. I'm still trying to like figure out what I'm gonna be because I don't really have like a favorite character.
You got more of a Mario build though, bro. Just saying, you know, Luigi's kind of tall.
Yeah, fuck. I'm 5'7", bro.
And Mario's the short one.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to figure that out. But that's like the next big thing. And then next month we got a few car meets that's set up already.
Hola Hola this weekend.
Yeah, this coming weekend.
Yeah.
It's kind of shitty because it's the same weekend as the anime convention.
Oh,
Is it?
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's next week.
So I need to figure out
Yeah.
how I can get to both.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Well, hit us up whenever you guys have some events. Out
Yeah,
here
for
that
sure.
need
We
some
got
food.
a big one coming up in May 31st. Is a big one.
Okay.
Cars come from like Arizona, California, surrounding
You gonna do
states.
them over here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a really big one. So I'll let you know.
Oh, and the new merch from the podcast dropping.
Yeah,
soon.
we got new merch coming soon, so we're working on it right now. Because we have these little, like obviously you guys been watching our podcast. We have these little funny sayings that everybody's saying now. So we're gonna be putting on merch. Can help me and Justin travel and interview people.
Do more interviews, do more
interviews,
podcasts all over. So it'll be good fun. Definitely keep a lookout for that. And just check out Tacos Policy down in Henderson for me.
Nice.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank
See you
you
guys
guys.
next time.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.